All right. I was accused of being a small channel peddling in lies and hate for YouTube views. Then I was told that I was too lenient and too charitable towards pirate software. So I was originally not going to react to anything else with pirate software. I was going to just leave it be outside of my first react. But since I was told I was a peddler of lies, I'm going to react to this one for views. If you don't like it, hate me. I don't care. And I will, again, watch this and try to be as fair as possible. If there is something I agree with or disagree with, I will state so. I am not a person that jumps on a hate train just to hate. I am someone who will always try to be fair no matter the situation. So with that being said, we are making a new Pirate React video when originally I wasn't going to, but since people wanted to be upset with me, I'm doing it again. Let's watch.
This streamer has been destroying his career over the last few months, as for some reason there's just like this massive disconnect between his audience and the internet and him. And he might have just put his career in jeopardy by...
I will say, again, being fair, Pirate, for most of the drama that he's done, isn't that big. There's a couple of them that are bad. The DMCA one, where he DMCA'd a small indie developer, that was really bad. But the World of Warcraft drama, all he did was just not take personal accountability, but at the end of the day, being bad at a video game, no one cares. Him faking his credentials that he was a programmer for 20-some years, that lets him use the appeal to authority fallacy, where he can act like he knows more than he does. And is that a bad thing overall? Probably for the people that work with him or have trusted him in his coding prowess. But if he's working on his game alone and his coding is bad, ultimately it doesn't really matter because he's not passing on the code to work with other people. Yeah, I know sloppy code isn't good to have, but again, it doesn't matter. I know people's issue with him, though, is that he promoted himself as being an amazing coder, and when he didn't live up to his own standards, instead of him saying, yeah, you know, maybe I'm not as good as I claim to be, no, he doubled down and pretended as if everyone else was in the wrong. He made excuses for it. So let's continue. I will go into this trying to be as fair as possible.
breaking Twitch's terms of service and potentially committing fraud. And I mean, overall, this has just been one of the craziest domino effects of nothing burgers that I've seen in a long time.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. He hasn't done anything egregious. He's done some stupid stuff. He's done some bad stuff. He doesn't want to admit when he's wrong, but he hasn't done anything insanely bad.
But as usual, he doesn't even understand why people are frustrated with him to begin with. Essentially, what's been happening to his career over the last few months is death by a million cuts.
That is the perfect way to describe it. It really is death by a million cuts. It's all these little issues that have stacked up that have made people really mad and really angry with him.
No massive drama or controversy that has really caused all of this. It's
True.
rather just countless moments of him messing up and refusing to acknowledge any of his mistakes whatsoever.
Also
and then,
true.
When he refuses to acknowledge any mistake, he then doubles down and tries to gaslight everyone by saying, actually, I'm the one who's right.
A little humility could have saved it, but alas. Yeah. What's so funny with Pirate is I would say about 9 out of 10 of them, if he just would have said, yeah, I made a mistake, or, oh, I was wrong about that, or, oh, you know, I talked myself up a bit, I was trying to entertain people. Things like that, he wouldn't even be in the drama that he's in. But it's the fact that he doubles down and refuses to take any personal accountability is why people are mad at him and are frustrated with him.
No matter what. I mean, if pirate software was placed on an island with a rock and whoever admitted they were wrong first would get to leave the island, they would both be stuck there forever.
True.
So obviously today we're talking about the streamer by the name of Pirate Software, and to give you a very brief backstory, he left his entire team to die in a video game where you only have one life. He constantly critiques games.
He did do that. There were things that he could have done to help. Everyone did make mistakes, and I will stand by what I said before. If he had even went and said, you guys are all bad, you guys all suck, uninstall, but I could have done better. He didn't even have to say I'm sorry. The WoW issue wouldn't have blown up the way it did.
And their developers, even attacking a whole movement that protects older games from becoming outdated. He seems to have some god complex he acquired because he worked at Blizzard as a website security guy.
Wait, he worked at Blizzard? No one's ever told me he worked at Blizzard. That's sarcasm, by the way.
And also, by the way, if you didn't know, he's definitely worked at Blizzard. Oh, and he also
No. No.
worked as a person who detected cheaters in their games, which is kind of ironic considering recently he was exposed for blatantly cheating in puzzle games. Basically,
That's also not a big deal. Who cares if someone cheated in a puzzle game? Ultimately, it doesn't matter.
he was on his phone during the stream and suddenly went, "Oh, I know the answer." And everyone was like, "Well, is that because you Googled it, dude?" So Pirate then responded via stream and said that he did not cheat and seemed pretty taken aback that people even thought that he would ever cheat.
Why did you cheat?
Yep, this is his ego. This is what I'm talking about, where his ego is getting in the way of his own success. Why did he need to deny that he cheated? You know what happens if I was playing a game and I was trying to solve a puzzle and I cheated and someone goes, "Hey, you cheated." I'd be like, "Yeah, you got me."
In out or what?
But he can't admit that. He can't admit that. I don't understand.
Elds? What? How the hell would you cheat in that game? Bro, we played it all live on stream. Alright, bud. It's a wild ass thing to say. What the hell?
Essentially, this dude is a love child of hypocrisy and deniability. Oh, and again, did I mention that he worked at Blizzard?
I was mentioning watching a video that was critiquing you for mentioning you work at Blizzard.
Oh, I
Stage.
love this. I
literally
love this
never
little
talk.
clip.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years. Yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. Used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. Your red team specialist for Blizzard Entertainment. And Blizzard. Because having worked at Blizzard. I grew up at Blizzard.
I don't think I'm better than other people. There's a lot of people that brought that up. And it's like, I never said that I was. I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting. When in reality, I'm just trying to give context.
So that is the problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase. This gets misconstrued in as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant statement on the planet, bro.
It is. It 100% is.
But I guess things have just got a whole lot worse because it was like 2 weeks ago since we made a 14-minute long video discussing most of this stuff. If you thought things were bad 2 weeks ago, they've got a whole lot worse. I mean, you have dudes who've been making, 14 videos in a row on essentially everything this guy has done.
I've made one. Just one. But now, since people got mad at me, I'm making 2.
Since then. So, apparently a lot is going on. And we'll talk about that channel in a little bit because Pirate has actually responded to some of the allegations from that channel. But either way, Pirate has received a lot of attention in the last couple of months. And I think it's the wrong kind, not the one that he wanted, because he's lost nearly 250,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 100,000 followers on Twitch.
Holy moly. I think when I reacted to the last video, he had only lost like 20,000. I didn't know he lost that much now. You know what's crazy? If he lied and just uploaded a video tomorrow and said, "Guys, I'm sorry. I was wrong about everything. I'm so sorry. I didn't work at Blizzard. I'm so sorry." And he was lying, people would probably forgive him, even if he was outright lying. Maybe not at this point because it's been too long, but if he did it at the start, people probably would have forgiven him.
Which
But his ego and pride would never allow that.
is absolutely insane. I mean, you would think with the losses like that he would be guilty of something crazy, but instead, as I kind of hinted to previously, it's just kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. And it's not even real cuts, it's just like paper cuts
Yep, scratches.
that he won't take any accountability for.
A bunch of scratches that has turned into a giant festering wound.
So our question for today is, why did all this happen? Well, this all came because Pirate Software, he was streaming on April 1st of this year and accidentally leaked a message between him and his moderator that suggests that he encouraged him to gift paid subscriptions and bits. Bits, by the way, are Twitch's currency. It's like a form of donating on Twitch.
Yep.
And I get to many of you guys, this would be extremely confusing. Why would a streamer want their moderator to be giving them money? To simplify things, there's a feature on Twitch called a hype train.
A hype train. Essentially, the more you get donations or gifts in a short amount of time, it raises the level of this hype train.
And on April 1st of this year, Pirate broke a record for the longest Twitch hype train.
Last year, on April 1st, back in 2024, Twitch's hype train record smashed again by Pirate Software. And they
Which which is impressive for sure.
Go into detail about Pirate breaking the Twitch Hype Train world record, with his channel reaching level 106 on April 1st. Once the Hype Train was initiated, it took Hall roughly 3 hours to beat his previous level 55 world record from December, with viewers contributing 54,380
That's a lot.
gifted subs, alongside regular subscriptions and 8.2 million bits, likely earning Hall a healthy six-figure sum in the process.
So why does this matter? Well,
Very nice.
on April 1st of this year, Pirate Software went live with the intention of beating this record again, because it had been beaten by another streamer by the name of Vidal. Randomly,
Vidal. I think it's actually pronounced Vettel, but I can't not say Vidal because my brain says Vidal every single time. I blame Neuro for that.
during his stream, he accidentally opened his Discord chat with his moderator.
I wished I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make... What?
Uh-oh. Yeah. So, as you can see, some tomfoolery was happening. Out of all the chat logs for him to open on stream, he literally opens the chat log where he's communicating with a moderator of donating money to keep the hype train going, and the mod even states which account he's donating through, called Serendipitous Bean. And then, to make things worse, they try...
So he's using his mods to donate money to continue his hype train. Okay, being fair, how do we not know that every popular streamer doesn't do this? I doubt he invented it. I'm pretty sure he's not the only one guilty of doing this. I'm pretty sure most top streamers do this.
to make that account look like it's not the moderator who's donating all this money to keep the hype train going and for him to inevitably beat that record. Yeah.
Is it scummy? Sure, because you're faking records. Is it illegal or bad? I don't think so, but let's continue. Maybe he's going to bring up some points that I didn't think of.
That doesn't look great. So now he's not only allegedly cheating in puzzle solving games, but also allegedly cheating for Twitch donation records.
Wonder if it's against the Twitch TOS. Possibly. I would have to look into that.
Now, he just responded to those allegations that were originally, from what I know, brought into the spotlight by the YouTuber Quintheo. So here, we're going off of screenshots that Ock20000 took from Pirate's Discord. But here, you can see that Pirate added everyone in his Discord and said, a content creator called Quintheo is continuously farming ad revenue by making false claims and drama content about me. Recently, he claimed that Kronos broke TOS.
Alright, I will say at the beginning of this, to frame Quintheo as someone who's just farming ad revenue by making false claims and drama content about him, the false claims part, sure, he can complain about that, but drama content, who cares? Everyone on the internet makes some form of drama content or react content. Are you telling me that Pirate Software has never reacted to a video game bombing or some type of drama? It doesn't even have to be internet drama, just any type of drama. He's never talked about it, he's never commented on it, and he's never made ad revenue off of it. Everyone enjoys a little bit of drama. You don't have to pretend to be above it.
by giving bits/subs to the Giga Train in April. Kronos used his own money to do this and can do what he likes with that money. Below is some information with receipts about all of that to refute the false claims about the situation. The creator has changed his entire brand into Pirate Software hate content for profit, as shown in image 4. Prior to this year's April 1st Giga Train going live, I made the announcement that I would be receiving 0% of the profits. Of the profits from the train, 50% would be going to the moderation team and 50% would be given to the ferret rescue. This announcement was made on March 29th, 2025, so the community was well informed of this. You can find this and attached as image 1. The total income from the Giga Train was 75,000 rounded up to the nearest thousand. This means that half of the train was 37,500, and that amount was then split 15 ways to all the staff besides me. That means each staff member received 2,500. This was announced to the community on April 9th, 2025. You can find this attached in image 2. Kronos threw 75,000 bits, 100 T1 subs, and 40 T3 subs during the Giga Train at around level 60 plus. He bought all of this in pounds, which came out to about 2,000 pounds or 2,800 bucks.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the guy acted independently and didn't do it essentially in cahoots with Pirate Software, and he spent his own money, and the money that was raised is going to pay for his moderators and towards his ferret rescue. So I'm assuming that's what Pirate is claiming here, that it wasn't some grand conspiracy, it was just his mod acting on his own free will.
For conversions.
That's what he's claiming.
You can find these transactions attached in image 3. Further, subs are not one-to-one conversion and neither are bits. The subs show up as about 68% of the overall contribution coming through, and bits are normally 82% when purchased in USD. However, doing this in pounds makes the conversion much worse. This means you were spending about 300 pounds or about $400 to get $250 in bits, which is a 62% conversion rate. So in total, Kronos spent $2,815.75 to add 1,830 to the value of the Gigatrain, which was then cut in half to 915, because half was given to the rescue and split 15 ways to all staff members as $61. All staff are paid in USD and must convert to their own currency, which is another loss on top of this. Each conversion reduces the total income for any divided staff member that wishes to do this.
I will say though, it is cool that he does, fundraise to pay his mods and for his ferret rescue. Sure, that's nice. That's fine.
Sums it up with the TLDR that no, Kronos was not directed to do this. He was not compensated for this. Yes, he lost money from doing this. No, the Twitch TOS was not broken, no matter how many people try to claim otherwise. You now have the receipts and the math to prove this. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. Well, what stands out for me here is why didn't he address, them purposely plotting to donate under another account than Kronos' main account to keep the train alive? It just seems dishonest for your mod to be donating under a...
That is true. If it wasn't in cahoots, or if they weren't in cahoots, why did his mod do it under a secondary name? That is suspicious.
Fake account that even says in the bio that he was a friend of Kronos and not Kronos himself. And another
That's also suspicious. Why would he claim to be a friend? Maybe if he didn't want to do it on his own personal account, because maybe he didn't want his name out there that he was donating a certain amount, so he used an alt account. I can see that. But him claiming to be a friend of the person when it was actually him, not outright proof. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Interesting point is Quinthio, he said in the comments of one of his videos that he had talked to Kronos. And here he claims that Kronos said that he wasn't reimbursed. But according to Thor's response here, Kronos would have actually received $2,500, which would make him almost fully reimbursed here. But Pirate follows up that first message with this. Now for the 1-2 punch against this BS.
Hello, Editor Skulls here. And I just wanted to clarify about this because I thought about it a bit longer after editing the video, but it's a little more underhanded than I initially thought. And I drew here in paint a better way to describe what I'm talking about. Money is donated in subs and bits. That creates a hype train. That hype train is money for the mods and ferrets. Then the mod donates to keep the hype train going, thus encouraging people to donate money, which then ends up for money for the mods and ferrets. But you see, if the mod donates, it comes back to him, maybe not the full amount, but overall, the money kind of still comes back because the whole stream and the whole hype train is for the mods and ferrets. Now you're probably thinking, well, what does Pirate get out of that? It's obvious. He gets fame and the clout of having the highest hype train ever in existence. He gets to also talk about how he's a good guy because he donates the money to his mods and his ferret rescue. Now, is it nefarious to want to raise money for a good thing like paying your mods and his ferret rescue? No, but he knows the underhanded tactics that are happening and he knows that he benefits from them. So I just wanted to add that little clarification. Anyways, back to the video.
Quinthio's Discord has people actively doxing me in it. Okay, that's really bad. His moderation team is aware of this and has been encouraging it as shown in the images. They have...
Okay, yeah, doxing is bad. No one should be doxing him. It doesn't matter what Pirate Software has done.
Also been digging into Shay and her job as a secondary attack vector. In image 1, Shelf Related, who is a mod, asks for doxing info directly. We've forwarded all of this to Discord Trust and Safety as a result. We've also banned all the users that were taking part of this from our Discord. Yeah, I mean, if this is true, that's not cool at all. Like,
Pirate has done nothing that warrants doxing. It doesn't matter what he's done. It doesn't matter the drama that he's in. Nothing warrants doxing.
No matter what you think about a creator, you should never be posting their address or work address on the internet, nor should you really have a scavenger hunt within your public Discord to try to find it. That just comes across as extremely obsessive and creepy. Now,
I agree. That was 100% wrong of those people to dox him.
I'm only taking Pirate's word for that here because I haven't been inside of Quinthio's Discord.
That's also true. Like I've said before in other videos, There are three sides to every story. There's his side, there's Pirate's side, and then there's the truth.
To see what was actually going on, but if that's true, that's definitely not a good look. Then, Pirate's last message in the series of posts said, "No, Quinthio, my address is not public information, and your users are distributing it on your Discord while the mods encourage it. They didn't just go after me and Shay either, they went after our moderation team too, as shown here. You cannot BS this away. Leave me and my team alone." I mean, that's
Yeah, if true, Pirate is right here. This is bad. No one should be getting doxxed over internet drama.
fair. Like, Pirate has plenty of public actions and statements that are free game to critique all you want,
Exactly. 100% true.
but you shouldn't be going for their addresses no matter what. And
Exactly.
come on, I mean, that shouldn't even be a hot take. Honestly, it's just crazy that things snowballed to this point for him, as this dude's YouTube channel and career in general is just in free fall as we speak. As I previously mentioned, he's lost over 250,000 subs and over 100,000 followers on Twitch. Like, that is insane. It went from
It
some
really
awful
is.
World of Warcraft classic plays, which he refused to admit any fault to, and then
Yep.
he just like slowly cascaded into more and more small things that he messed up and wouldn't admit any fault to, because the WoW situation then turned into the stop killing game situation, which then brought the spotlight to his own video game and then another game studio that he used to be associated with called Off-Brand Games. Because as a month ago, he had to completely step back from that game studio, as he announced here. And Ludwig, who is one of the founders of that studio, thanked him for doing so. And that then brings
I don't know if he's going to talk about it, but quick context
us
is
here. And Ludwig, who is one of the founders
Ludwig here said that their game was being review bombed and harassed. The game was not being review bombed, so that is incorrect information. I don't know if Atozi is going to cover that, but I just wanted to mention that as a side note.
of that studio thanked him for doing so. And that then brings us to Pirate's game called Heartbound. This game has been in production for a very long time, and Pirate has not been silent about criticizing other games in the past.
But I have looked a little more into his game, and I've heard that it's like 10 minutes of gameplay, and the game has been in early access for roughly 10 years. Maybe a little less, maybe it's 7 years, but somewhere up there, which is a scam,
Like Undertale, who many claim his game has taken a lot of inspiration from.
in my
Undertale
opinion.
is the best example of this. Undertale was made by Toby Fox. Undertale is a brilliant goddamn game. It's very good. It's also coded like shit.
The difference with that, though, is Toby Fox never claimed that he worked at Blizzard and has 20 years of coding experience. So it's fine if Undertale's coding isn't that great. Toby Fox never claimed that he was some coding genius. Yandev moment? True. That's another one who's been making his game for like 10 plus years. Create the actual game? Sorry, Yandev can't do that. All he can do is ban you from his Discord.
And that's fine. If you look at the decompiles that people have done of Undertale, you'll find that there are rooms that have hundreds of if statements checking the same value, then it sets it to 0, then it checks it again before doing anything. Meaning all of those if statements did nothing except for take processing power. There are sections of the game that show, like, oh, here's an example.
Just because there are some bad coding bits in Undertale does not excuse bad coding in your game, especially when you claim that you have 20 years of coding experience.
All the dialogue in all of Undertale is in a single switch case statement.
No one cares if your coding is bad, but it's the fact that you claimed that you had 20 years of experience and talked down to people who mentioned that your code could have been cleaner. So again, he's his own self-destruct button.
In one object. It's thousands and thousands of cases long. Single object, all of the dialogue in the game, hard-coded into that object. Insane. Insane behavior. But it doesn't matter. You can be bad at programming and make a brilliant game that changes the entire industry.
So obviously, if you're talking like that, you better have some really good code when it comes to your game. And to even double down on that, Pirate went on to say that his game was uncrackable. You could not...
You never challenge the internet. If you say your game is uncrackable or unpiratable, the internet will instantly go, oh yeah? Watch. Never challenge the internet.
pirate his game, which someone proved to be wrong very quickly. In this pretty viral thread on Twitter,
Of course.
the user by the name of Peach2K2 pointed out that the code is messy and badly organized. It has lots of inconsistent formatting, confusing variable names, and missing comments make it hard to follow. Essentially, Peach here waved...
Being fair, that's not bad for his coding being bad to follow, since he's a solo dev. so he can understand his own code. That being said, yes, it would be nice if it was neater, and it should be neater since he claims to have 20 years of coding experience. But overall, it being sloppy code as a solo dev and he's going to be the only one looking at his code, it's really not that bad, in my opinion.
A red flag about Pirate Software's technical skills and professionalism when it comes to coding games. And this also caused more people from the game dev community to start looking into this guy's code. And this includes a guy that goes by Coding Jesus. And here he made a 14-minute video where he essentially says the code of his game is embarrassing.
Honestly, if I was claiming I'm a game developer with 20 years of experience, this would be embarrassing to have online.
So Pirate took offense to that, and he went on to claim that his game Heartbound, it was coded so well that it could run on a smart fridge to show its efficiency. But it turns out the game was allegedly ran on a PC and mirrored to the fridge screen.
It is
The king of self-Ls is Pirate Software. He didn't have to go and prove that his game could quote-unquote run on a smart fridge. Why would you set yourself up for failure like that? Pirate Software, please, just stop. You're destroying yourself for no reason other than your pride and ego.
irrelevant to increase
This isn't even criticism anymore. I'm trying to help the guy.
performance on
Not like he's ever going to hear this.
a game that runs on a smart fridge.
The day my devastating video on Pirate Software's slop lighting system dropped, he did an 8-hour cope stream, justifying the slop by referring to the fact that his game runs on a smart fridge. So let's analyze what's really going on. Here's the video of Heartbound running, quote-unquote, on a smart fridge. Let's rewind a little. What do we notice here? We notice that the game is actually being run on a laptop and streamed to the fridge using a Raspberry Pi device. If we zoom in a little closer, you can see it says connecting to Heartbridge, which is the name of the laptop and the hotspot connection he set up. In this case, the screen simply acts as a controller. Everything is running on the laptop, and
This is exactly what I mean about this guy being his own worst enemy. He didn't need to upload this video of him mocking that other guy, talking about how great his video game is, that it can run on a smart fridge. He didn't have to do that, but instead, he did it, and the person was using a Raspberry Pi and projecting it to the fridge, and the fridge itself wasn't running it. So he took another unnecessary L because of his pride and ego. Please, Pirate.
the actual output is just being streamed back to the smart fridge. The fridge isn't computing anything itself. To emphasize this, here's a video of a washing machine running Death Stranding.
Whoa, its coding must be so well done.
So when your game runs at perfect performance on a smart fridge inside of a Lowe's, come back and talk shit.
Oh, God.
So Pirate made that video revolving the fridge, and we already saw Coding Jesus' response. So I guess, again, he made some weird response to try to make himself look like a genius. It's never that serious, and I'm very confused on why he's trying so hard to come across as like the smartest dude in the room. Because by trying to do so, he's kind of proving to the world that he's not that. I mean, the dude is just actively destroying his career live.
Because he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that to himself. But he does.
By continuing to double down rather than admit fault and fixing mistakes. Because like, imagine if his response was, yeah, this is my first game, I'm trying my best here, thank you guys for supporting me.
That would have gone so hard. Had he said those exact words, people would have been like, yeah, good job, Pirate, we support you. But instead he said, I'm the best that's ever existed. No one's better than me. And if you disagree, you're running a hate campaign.
Rather than allegedly staging this whole Best Buy refrigerator clip, which he only got caught doing because he was being sloppy, in a similar way that he got caught with the whole donation train thing. Either way though, I mean, this dude is guilty of committing cringe, but
Guilty of committing cringe. That's good. I gotta steal that line at some point.
under no circumstances should he nor anyone close to him be doxxed. But I mean, hey, at least he didn't get like $6 billion in contracts and build only half a house like Akon did in Africa, because that's just an insane story that I would recommend you guys checking out there. But other than that, hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Ah, that was good. Let's drop a like and a subscribe. There we go. Future Skulls here. There's been new pirate stuff, and I want to react to that. And instead of making a separate video, we're just going to do it all in one. So let's get to that now. Since there's new stuff, I'll react to it and encompass it all into one video later on. So let's see what Asmon has to say about this.
Uh-oh. Really? not looking good for Pirate Software.
There's an update to the Pirate Software drama where an ex-roommate and co-worker exposed what Jason was really doing while working at Blizzard and was actually Pirate superior while QA testing on Diablo 3.
I played Diablo 3. I played it on launch. There was some broken bits of it. Like some of the acts and some of the monsters just one-shot you, and it was really, really bad. I know they fixed it later, but at launch, some of the enemies were overtuned.
Now,
mind you, this was like, oh god, like 13 years ago now? But yeah.
Oh, he DQA tested on D3? You didn't even need to interview an employee. I could have told you he wasn't doing anything.
Whenever I scream about how I had to work with Pirate Software and how he doesn't know shit about fuck, I mean, I was directly ordered to deal with him for Diablo 3 testing and QA. I saw his PC screens since he sat in front of me. I had to assign, review, and redo his tasks.
He would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and then redirect it. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks.
Yeah.
That is something I've said about Pirate, is that he seems to have overplayed his knowledge and expertise in his gaming and coding career, and then he uses the appeal to authority fallacy to act like he knows more than what he actually does, and has used that to advantage and better his self and his own career. Scummy a bit, sure, but overall it's not terrible, in my opinion.
Let me guess, he was assigned to the Wasps in Act 2, right? Yeah, bro, Thor fucked up.
That's what I was pretty much talking about. You know what was annoying with those wasps too? You couldn't even see their attacks. They were so hard to see, and they would just one-shot you. Ugh, it was so bad.
Love the game, but man, it was bad.
Reddit all day, ignoring tasks.
Wait, so he was just on Reddit all day?
He was just browsing Reddit all day, ignoring tasks, and actively holding the team back. But when
he definitely was assigned to Act 2. Oh my god. I knew it.
She and others tried to escalate the issue, the higher-ups basically said that they can't do anything about it because his dad was an executive at the company. But the worst part was when Jason ended up being Cynthia's roommate, because apparently living with Pirate Software was such a nightmare that shortly after him moving in, her apartment was a disaster. She was asking him to leave early, and while cleaning up the mess that he left behind, Cynthia said that his walls were covered in either snot or some other gooey.
That's another nothing burger situation. He was a dirty roommate. Is it nice to rent a room and leave it filthy? No.
I had to clean everything by hand. There was, like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom. I don't know if it was snot or something else, just like...
If he was a single guy, I might have an idea what it might have been. I'm not gonna say it, but we're all thinking it.
Wiped here and there on the walls.
He tried to mark his territory. The idea that
he was just peeing on the walls. He was just marking his territory.
there was a person that worked on QA for Diablo 3 that didn't do anything, that spent their entire time on Reddit and didn't do any of their tasks. I don't need evidence for that. I already believe it instantaneously. Yep, of course this is happening.
I didn't get this deep. Stop feeding into it. All of the accounts that are messaging me are getting reported. There's a funny fact about this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. There's a whole lot of other people there that still know me. And all of these reports are going directly to them. They're well aware of the situation, and everybody who's messaging me, they're going to get read.
You know, I was going to drop a "my dad works at Nintendo" joke, but it's too real. Because his dad worked at Blizzard.
It's kind of a dumbass thing to do, and I can't wait for all of them to get banned.
Me too. Me too.